Yeah, so as you can see, it's best of three first round. Yeah, best of three first round. I hope that didn't lag, by the way, when I changed to the go to game transition. It's weirdly laggy sometimes. Sometimes it's fine, but yeah, Drone just plays for fun. He really wants to play against Shiny. He was one game off of a final against Shiny last week, so I don't know if he'll get his wish this week. We'll soon find out. But when Wallace is ready, we can get going. The admin is me, unless someone wants to jump in and help. Basically, people can whisper me if they have any problems, Foxanne, so just get them to whisper me and I'll respond to them. It's a bit of a pain, but one of the problems with doing everything on your own is you've got to deal with everything. I know Sale manages to do it, so it's not that bad. But in the top left corner, in the 10 o'clock position, we do have the purple Zerg, Liquid Drone. And over in the top right, we do have the teal Protoss, Wallace, BG. Now, I'm not sure if BG is Bulgaria or if it's actually a clan name. I've never actually checked, but I guess we'll find out at some point. So I'm just going to quickly set their colors in my overlay. Takes like a couple of seconds. And then you should see on screen, everything else will have popped up as well. So hopefully that all works. It's been a while since I've been able to test it fully. Looks like I just need to move this ever so slightly so it's in the corner there. There we go. Oh, we got a pause. That's fine. I'm not Kesper. I did have an account, Kesper Kicks, but that's I'm not logged into that today, so I don't need to be overly harsh. We see the probe going out to build the pylon. Now, of course, if you've not seen this map before, there is an in-base mineral only here, as well as this gas base here, so it looks like he will try and wall off the front. Sometimes Protoss will just actually go one gate in their vein, do a gateway expand, but take this mineral only first. But I guess this is more economical. You can actually forge fast expand, which looks like that's exactly what Wallace is going to do. He is sending his probe out to the bottom right, so he's scouting in the wrong direction, but it will allow him to build that additional forge and expansion when he needs to. One thing of note as well, the 12 and 6 o'clock expansions are actually islands, as you can see when I zoom out here a little bit. They do have gas on, it is a full gas base. It may not come into play as much in a PvZ, but certainly in some of the games that we see today, we could very much see the island expansions being taken depending on how late the game goes. You have pocket bases, like on Neo Electric Circuit. I think they're pretty much nearly almost exactly the same layout as the electric circuit bases, 12, 6, 3 and 9, but they sort of corner the middle, and in the middle you do have this weird double gas mineral base, which is basically near impossible to take. You have like the 4 chokes coming out of it, but unless a player is super far ahead in the late game or it's a crazy TBT where the siege lines just can't move, you don't usually see that base being taken. We do see the forge coming up as expected with the Nexus. Looks like Drone is going to go for his spawning pool after a 12 hatchery there, so he is playing economically as well. There's not going to be too much aggression early on from either player, and I guess we'll go into a fairly normal PvZ here. Now, I know that Drone does play random. He can play Protoss, Terran, and Zerg all together, so he's a very smart player. He knows what he's doing. He's going to take the 3rd hatchery on these mineral fields. Now, these are, I believe, yeah, they're full minerals, so they're not sort of half minerals or anything because it's in the base. But there is less. There's only actually 5 patches in this expansion, so that can play into things a little bit. Usually you want to sort of mine out this base, and then you have to sort of either expand to one of the gas bases or take another main and natural. I'm not sure how long this game will go on. I know that Drone, even though he plays random, he doesn't actually overdo it on cheese or anything, so he can actually play a standard game across every single race, which is why what really impresses me the most. Looks like Wallace is actually doing a pretty weird wall here, but I guess it will work out for him. He should be able to put the 2 zealots there and cover everything, and there is additional room to build the extra cannons should Drone go for any hydras. I'm just going to very quickly check Discord while I follow this probe. Oh, okay, that was Tai2 saying he couldn't make it. If just in case anyone needs a link to the Discord just to sort of sort their games out, I'm just going to put a link in here. There we go. What the? Okay, copy that. There we go. So that's actually a link to a Discord that people can use for the tournament, just in case there's any weird problems with the chat bug. It's one of the really awkward things with Remastered, but unfortunately it is being looked at. It just takes a little bit of time to fix bugs like this, so do see a little critter there. Looks like Wallace is trying to be a little bit aggressive with one probe and one zealot. This will work out for him pretty well. There's no sunken colony up yet and only 4 links, so with good control this zealot could actually get a few drones. I mean, as long as he even gets 1 drone, that should be decent enough for him. If he forces a few extra units from the Zerg, forces them to not drone, and that all sort of adds up to itself. Looks like Wallace in his main is going to go up to a Stargate with the 1 core on 1 gate. Likely going to, well, we most certainly will see some Corsairs. Another Zealot is running in. I'm not sure he'll be able to get too much on with this one. There is some Hydralis now. He's going to try and run away, but it does look like unfortunately he will lose that without actually killing anything. He kills a single Ling. And look at this, we see the cannons now coming down. I'm not sure if maybe this is a bit of an overreaction. He has scouted the Hydralis count, but to me this looks more like Drone is going to be looking to put some pressure on rather than going all in with Hydralis. Can he break down the front? He's going for this front cannon, but there isn't really enough units. But this is going to be the problem with this wall. As soon as, I mean, he doesn't even need to wait for range. Look at this. He can actually just take down the forge. Back at home, he's actually droning. Well, I mean, he's built some drones. It doesn't seem like he's going all in. He's going up to his lair to go up to the spire to deal with the Corsairs. But because of the fact he is killing the forge, there's no way that Wallace can actually tell what's going on, so he will have to really overmake cannons. And until his Corsair can come out and he can scout, which interestingly, he actually cancelled. He went straight into Citadel. He's going into his Templar Archives first. So his scouting is going to be delayed even more. This will give him the option to defend against the Hydralisks, but of course it does put him behind in the scouting and everything. He's actually going to lose this gateway as well eventually. Looks like Hydra range is now just about finished, and he's going to range this down. He's actually adding more cannons on, because he just doesn't know what Drone has. If only he could see, there's only actually, I believe that's 7 Hydralisks here. Drone has been droning up pretty hard back home. He's adding his 4th hatchery. He should be adding a 5th hatchery soon as well, and maybe looking at expanding. But I mean, right now, Drone is in a perfect position. He doesn't have to worry about anything. Wallace building all of these cannons is going to be really far behind in his unit count. He can't flood gateways, which is going to be a problem for him a little bit later on. He is now adding some gateways, but they are heavily delayed, and if he wanted to be aggressive, his +1 was even cancelled on the first forge, so his aggressive options are going to be severely limited. Now, is he going to go into a Robo, or is he going to go from here into his Stargate? Either way, he's going to have to get some scouting out, or he just will have no idea what's going on. Looks like a Ling from Drone is actually checking everything out, just making sure there's no hidden bases, making sure there's no hidden tech as well. Very possible to hide tech on this map. There is so much room, and looks like Miso may need some admin assistance, so hopefully I can help. I understand his English isn't too bad, so hopefully with my, if I can turn down my English a bit, we'll be able to sort it out. But yeah, we do have the bracket link there as well, which is useful. Now, Drone looks like he's actually coming back to defend against the drop. He may actually be going for Overlord drops himself. He can drop onto this high ground. One of the interesting things is, there's 2 power generators up here. There is only 2 of them, they're not stacked or anything, but it does allow you some offensive options where you can get some Hydros up here, actually range down the second gas of the Protoss. Of course, the Protoss can take this mirror only, and they will focus a lot on Zealots early on, but it will all come down to the sort of eventual move out. Looks like we finally do have 2 DTs coming out onto the map. They're going to scout around, they're going to find this 4th base, and he should, I don't think he'll be able to cancel it. There is an Overlord here already, and unlike with Corsair DT, There's nothing that can shoot up right now that can push this away. He may actually throw this DT away. Even having Overlord speed now as well, being able to chase this down completely. And that DT has achieved virtually nothing. So Wallace sitting in a really weird position now. He is adding on a lot of Zealots. He doesn't have his +1 finished yet. Does it look like he's planning on moving out? He does have Storm. He must have Storm research by now. But he is behind on a lot of things. It looks like we've finally got the observatory out. He'll be able to use some observers to go across the map. But the important thing to note, guys, is that there is this third base in here. So Protoss doesn't necessarily need to move out. And it's up to Drone to really abuse that. Looks like he's trying to chase down a DT that was actually looking around for extra bases. I'm not sure he's quite noticed it there. The Overlord, I think, would have seen it. Now, this is the only problem with this base. Unlike a lot of bases, look how close the minerals are to the actual low ground. It's the same at all four of them. You can see them here. Although this one has a few more doodads actually blocking it, which is a slight positional advantage if you do spawn there. But it forces the Protoss to actually build cannons here and leave some High Templar right at the back, just to make sure there's no weird sort of backstabs. But here we go, the reason for the Overlord speed, there is a big drop, has been loaded up by Drone. There is nothing to scout this right now from Wallace. He still doesn't have an observer. He does have an observer, but it needs to watch the front. And this drop could actually do a lot of damage. Looks like the shuttle may actually intercept the drop, which is kind of interesting. What is he going to do? How is he going to react? It looks like he's going to try and pull it back. There will be High Templars in this drop, and he'll be able to storm what comes out of the Overlords. But he needs to make sure his army's in the right place. It looks like the army is moving back. A nice storm does go down, but doesn't actually hit anything. He can run straight out of it. And Wallace is going to find himself in a really bad situation. Now, the one important thing to note is Wallace didn't send a single Hydralisk with this, so... sorry, Drone didn't send a Hydralisk with this. So he's eventually going to be able to clear up the Lurkers, but look at this, I don't think Dragoon range is finished yet, so he's actually having to walk into Lurker range to do anything, and look at that pickup, that hot pickup was really nice. Gets away with the Overlord, one of the Lurkers does go down to the Storm, and these two Lurkers will be forfeit, but this is so much damage for Wallace to have taken. Drone is actually supply block though after that. And yeah, I mean there's not too much to say. Drone finally has his fourth base. He's not actually even mining the minerals, opting to just go for the gas. Drone could possibly look to expand again. He does have a commanding position on the map. And is he going to make use of this high ground pod? He does have the Overlords here. Is he gonna try and range down this gas? There's going to be nothing that Wallace can do about it. I don't know if he actually lifted anything up there, so unfortunately for him, he's just going to sit content outside the front, possibly look to build some Lurkers out here and set up a rather big Lurker contain. Looks like an Overlord tries to, an Observer tries to come out of the base and gets immediately sniped down by the Hydralisks. Apparently Aru lost in the first round. I don't know if Miso said anything. No, he didn't. He just said hi to me. Okay. We do finally see the Lurkers out the front. What is Wallace doing in his base? He does have 3 gateways coming up. He actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 gateways in his main already. Will go up to 13 gateways, which will give him a lot of production. His money is quite high right now, but when he eventually wants to leave, his base, he's going to have a massive Zerg army, which is on 2-1 upgrades against just his one attack. Is he getting to attack right now? Yes, he is. So eventually, the upgrade advantage will sort of dissipate. Drone is pretty good about getting his upgrades, though. He usually, HDY is Miso. Yeah, Drone. One thing Drone likes to do, and I've seen him say on Discord a lot. Basically, he likes going double evolution chamber in all of the Zerg matchups. And the other thing Drone likes to do is he likes to build queens. And this is pretty cool. Now, Drone's use of queens is pretty sick. There was a crazy game on Neo Medusa in one of the previous Clash for Chars where he absolutely did an incredible job. I I've actually got my follow notifications turned off, so I can't tell who followed me, but thank you very much. Dragon the Kree of round 1. Oh, was that Dragon? Sorry, Cadenzi. Unfortunate. But yeah, it's best of 3 until finals. Looks like, unfortunately for Wallace, much with most Protoss builds, the cannon's actually blocking the Dragoons from leaving his base. But look at this insane contain that's going on. It looks like Drone is actually going to opt to move in. He needs to be careful though, there is a lot of storm here. But what Wallace doesn't know about is Drone does have these queens. Is he going to Broodling? Is he going to Broodling the High Templar? That's something you can do. But no, it's an ensnare, and that's going to be increasingly difficult to get away from the lurkers. And yeah, this is not going to work. He can't actually retreat as well. It's going to be so hard to break out. It looks like the Observer was sniped again. And looks like Drone is going to use this high ground to take out this gas. And with only 1 gas, Wallace is going to find it even harder to break out, and this is going to be relatively insane. Actually dropping in the main, possibly even a better choice. The Ensnare has worn off on the units from Wallace at the moment, but look at this, Drone has such a huge army back at home. He's still at 2-1 upgrades. Is the 2-2 finished by... so 2 attack is finished by Protoss. It looks like something was actually parasited. I heard that, there we go. One of the Dragoons is parasited, so Drone has ultimate vision right now. If we turn off Wallace's vision, you can see that not only can Drone see the vast majority of the map, knowing that nothing is leaving his base, he actually has vision of the Protoss army as well, and this is going to be so difficult for Wallace to come back from. A single lurker on 13 kills actually pushes all of the probes away from this base, and I think it's only a matter of time before Wallace actually has to tap out. He's going to try and push forward here, but I'm not sure if this is going to really work for him. He needs to get out past the lurkers, but there's just so many units from Drone. Can he do it? He's pushing at one of the weak points of the contain, and apparently Oxerg's opponent left. That is relatively unfortunate, I guess. I don't know if it was a disconnect. Okay. Okay. So we do see another ensnare. There is so many Protoss units, so Dragoons are really strong against everything but Zerglings. When the Zerglings come in, they probably need to check if he has Hive. Yes, he does, so he will have Adrenaline soon. Looks like he already does. And it looks like the meager Protoss army that has tried to break the contain is actually going to go down. A cannon on the high ground actually nearly saving one of his Dragoons there, but there's just not enough. There's not enough Protoss units. The Queens are coming in again. He actually parasites one of the High Templar, not opting to Broodling. I'm not sure if you need to actually the weird thing about Ensnare, just so you guys know, is it makes the attack slower, but only on certain things. It's kind of strange. Not everything is affected by Ensnare. But here we go, another load of... And wow, 4 lurkers actually drop into the main. There is nothing Wallace has back here that can deal with this. He does have some cannons, but it's not going to be good enough. Funnily enough, Drone going past 2 of the cannons to try and find some probes, but there just isn't any anymore. 30 supply down to a Zerg player who is slowly but surely making his way towards maxed, and look at this, a single lurker doing so much damage as the observers were out of range. And he's actually going to try and take down 3, I guess that'll be armor and this will be attack. There we go, looks like the Dragoons will manage to come back and clear this. But is he going to lose one of the Dragoons? Yes, he does! Those lurkers are doing so much damage, actually picking up the damaged Dragoon. Really nice move. And there we go, the drop has been cleaned up. But Drone, meanwhile, is getting his 4th, or his 5th and 6th base, I can only assume. He hasn't actually sent a drone down there. He knows he's in such a commanding position in this game. Drone's macro has actually been pretty immaculate this game. He's not really gone too high on his bank or anything, so Drone's showing that he's a really strong player here. Wallace, not to say that he's been doing badly either, he's been doing really well himself. It's just he can't do anything about this contain. Some storms go down. The lurkers actually move back into the storm, but there just isn't enough Protoss units here. I don't know where his supply is. He has a 92 supply now. and no units. It's crazy. Looks like Drone is going to move in. Defilers are finished, and I think this is finally going to be the moment. The Wallace is... Oh my god, this is actually kind of awkward because the Hydras can't get or can't take damage, but they can take damage from a storm, and that is a huge storm, but the Dragoons can do absolutely nothing, and neither can the Hydras, funnily enough. The Zealot's worth their weight in gold right now. He's actually moved Lurkers under the swarm now, and this is going to be very, very, very difficult for Wallace to be able to hold on to. He's lost all this storm. He has one Templar. It does not have any storm energy left. The 5th base of Drone is now mining at full strength, pretty much. And this is the final bleeding moments of Wallace in the first game of this series. Queens even coming in and broodlinging the last High Templar there. And look at this, just so many Zealots actually just flowing down to their death. It looks like Wallace doesn't want to give up. I don't know if Wallace realizes it's best of 3, but it is best of 3 all the way to the final. And Drone just doing an incredible job. The Broodlings actually do so much damage. Well, they do 6 damage, but that's enough when you have a few of them. And GG from Wallace. Drone does take the first game of the series, and they will now move on to the next map, which is, of course, New Tornado. Let's just quickly report that win. So, Drone with the win. That should actually update my overlay. Hopefully that's all working today as well. Yeah, it is. Cool. I wonder if Carmadillo Jack actually found Daishinkai in the end. Okay, it looks like he's actually in a game now, so that's good. The one thing that may have confused Andy a bit is I actually made it an hour earlier today because I wanted to make it a little bit more accessible for everyone. But then, then some of the people in like America, it's actually really early for them, so it's kind of hard to fit a tournament in for everybody. Hopefully Wallace knows that he's still in. Let's just check that he's still online. Okay, so one thing to show you guys quickly, actually I'll show you on my overlay instead, because it's a little bit easier to show off, although I guess this is a big picture. This is a 4-player map. There is like a high ground pod as if it was sort of Sim Peaks of Beidou. Outside of each main natural combination you do have this gas only third, or gas with minerals I guess. They are, I mean, it's a pretty normal expansion path. You sort of swing around here and you take this high ground, and it does give you that defensive option of taking that base. Bracket is stacked. It was. There are so many good players in the bracket, like, it's crazy. It's really hard to seed the tournament when there's so many good players. Like, I was trying to seed it, but no matter how I was seeding it, because there were so many good players in the tournament, every game was crazy. The only person I missed is Dragon. I thought that was Dragon as in the American Dragon, Dragon Pain. But in the 12 o'clock position, we do have Liquid's Drone as the Red Zerg. And in the, I guess that's the 1 o'clock position. And in the 7 o'clock position, we do have the White Protoss Wallace BG. I'm just gonna update my overlay. So it is red versus white. There we go, everything should be up. Still better than Dumo first round. Thing is, Dragon in StarCraft 2 was a pro for a little bit, but he was never really super good. He was more a variety streamer. Now, one thing that you may have not have seen before, this map does use, much like an egg, it uses the mature chrysalis, which is what Kerrigan actually spawned from in the campaign, to actually block the ramp. Now, Jello, I know you played against Dandy, so I do wonder if your Protoss Imber questions did mean you beat Dandy 2-0. I'm expecting good things from you, Jello. But we do see an overpull coming out of Drone this game. Looks like we're actually going to see a gateway first this time, so we do see a gateway expand coming up for Wallace, opting to send out an early probe anyway. One thing I've seen a lot of foreign pros do at least, is when even Bisu, when he does gateway expand, he actually doesn't probe scout on the pylon. He waits until after the gateway, but I suppose as this is a 4-player map, it does mean he will get that quick scout and he'll be able to actually block off the hatchery as well. How annoying is Wallace going to be? Drone is pretty good at dealing with this. He does it himself as well because he does play Protoss, which is cool. There we go, we do actually see the pylon going down. It's going to be a bit annoying for Drone, but there is a third base you can take here with this wide ramp, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him go do that. Looks like rather than that, he is going to try and build some lings and actually clear out this pylon. I suppose it does work okay, but we're likely just going to see a pylon cancel before it finishes. Is Wallace going to cancel? Yes, he does, and here we go. Is he going to put another pylon down? Yes, he does. So the Zerglings are actually going to go across map for Wallace now, or for Drone even. Why do I keep getting the names mixed up? We have the gateway. Oh my god, he's actually using a hatchery to block the expansion of Wallace. This is kind of crazy. We are going to see some weird Zealot attack, and this is going to be completely insane. We do see 4 lings coming in. It looks like he tried to build a forge to block it, but there's so many lings already in his base. It looks like some good Zealot micro is going to take out one of them though. Now, is Drone actually going to go fully all in with this, or is he going to cancel? Is this to just block the expansion, or is this for an all-in? I don't think he can realistically let this finish. Look how quickly it's going down, but look how many probes that Wallace has actually had to pull to deal with this, and he actually just cancels it. Look at that. That is such a, I'm going to call that a swag play, and that's a really pimpin' play for this game, because if he lets that finish, he can actually just build Zerglings even in his base. So he has to deal with it, and to deal with it, he has to pull nearly all of his probes, which is a bit of a pain for him. It looks like some more lings are going to come in. Now, the unfortunate way of Protoss walls is it does allow you to do this really cool... Oh my god, the Zealots are actually quite out of position. Can he get down the 2 Zealots? There's no cannon finish yet. There is one more Zealot, but it's not going to be enough to... Zerglings may actually be able to break through. One of them is attacking the cannon now. And is he going to be able to take down this cannon before it finishes? Yes, he can. It was not cancelled either. And there's now 4 lings. They should have speed soon. No, they shouldn't. There's no actual gas. And Drone, meanwhile, is actually just going up to 3 hatcheries. A nice probe block. Does block the ramp for the Zerglings. So the Zealot does manage to clean all that up. That Zealot actually has 5 kills. Yeah, by the way, I live on a fairly main road, so there's going to be a lot of sirens going past, so I do apologize if you hear those in the background. But you know what? If I was going full caster mode, right, I would say that they're coming to take me away for showing this illegal, amazing StarCraft to everybody. That'd be what it was. Yeah, but Nino, of course. We do see the gas finally finished up for Drone. Yeah, we don't see too much crazy going on for Wallace. His build has been delayed a hell of a lot. He's only just now mining his gas. He did get his Nexus very late compared to how you normally would want to, and due to that early aggression from Drone, Wallace couldn't actually be aggressive with his Zealots, which really nullifies this gateway first opening. But this is going to be the moment. He has 4 Zealots. That's enough to deal with a pretty big amount of Zerglings. And we do see the 4th hatchery coming up for Drone and the Hydralisk Den. So we could see some 4-hatch Hydra action here. He could just go to 5-hatch and just sort of play a little bit more standard. This, of course, does allow him to wall off this area. It wouldn't surprise me to see some evolution chambers coming down at some point. Drone really does like his double upgrades, no matter what the matchup. It's one thing I will say, I've not solo casted in quite a while, and it's kind of crazy to just talk constantly. I've been so used to just bouncing off of Sale. The fact he's actually ill at the moment is kind of a detriment, but we're getting there and getting back into the swing of things. We do see a lot of those lings are actually incredibly damaged, so these Zealots are going to be able to do a lot more than maybe they could have done earlier. Drone did a really good job of keeping them alive before, so Drone is going to be able to send out some more lings to scout. He does have this Overlord just outside the front. There's nothing that can shoot up for Wallace. Now, is Wallace going to continue with the Stargate this time, or is he going to cancel it? Last game, interestingly, where he scouted the early Hydralisk, even though it wasn't a pressure build and an all-in even, he actually forwent his Stargate and went straight into the Templar Archives, which was kind of awkward because it meant he didn't have a single... I mean, he didn't have a single thing he could do. He couldn't scout, he didn't know what was going on, and it did put him incredibly far behind, but this time, looks like he will in fact be going into the Stargate first. We could even see some Corsair DT action here, Bisu style, from Drone. I know Drone does like doing that build sometimes. Drone is very versatile with his builds. Wallace I'm not too sure of, but it does look like he is going a similar build from before. There isn't too many openings. And of course DT, sorry, that would be Wallace. I'm too used to Drone playing Protoss. Yeah, we do see a lot of Lings out on the map for Drone actually. Gonna go into the Hydralisk. Now, does he have his 5th hatchery yet? It doesn't look like he does. So no 5th hatchery, going for some 4-hatch Hydra pressure. ASMR cast. Yeah, Sale got some really bad timing to get ill. He is actually going to Italy this week to cast the ESL with Cadenzi. Starts on Tuesday. Oh, it's Wednesday and Thursday, sorry. But here we go once again. Drone is just taking down the front of this wall, and look how many cannons Wallace is building once again. Wallace delaying his build to get so many cannons because he just doesn't know what's going on. Not actually building a Corsair either, so he's got no scout on the map once again. And Wallace is putting himself in a really awkward position once more. And I mean, I guess he's taking the advice from Sale a little bit too literally. You only really need the cannons if you know they're going all in. Admittedly, there is only 4 hatcheries from Drone right now, actually adding his evolution chamber in his main and going up to the lair finally. So this was a very pressure orientated build, but it's not going to really do too much now. Building cannons around his throat, that's a really good idea. That would have helped me so much as a kid, I was always ill. But we do see the Drone waiting there to build something else. Is he going to go for another evolution chamber? No, he's actually just going to go to mine. That was a little bit of an awkward thing. You can see the chrysalis there, pulsating, pretty cool. Now, one thing Drone could look to do is actually drop again. He did go drop last game. There's a really nice drop path over here to get into the back of the Protoss main. There is no Corsairs, so drop may be the best choice, but it looks like he may actually try for a bust. Is he going to push in here, lose a few links to the cannons, and will pull back? So he's not going all in. Sail the pylon. Is Sail the Artosis pylon of the StarCraft community though? Because that would be a problem if he disappeared again. Foreign Brood War would just die, unfortunately, if Sail disappeared, if he was the Artosis pylon. Once again, we see the lair. There's no hive just yet. You see the 5th hatchery coming up. Has he got his spy yet? I'm not too sure. Looks like he's actually adding some Sunkens over here. And now this is actually going to be quite difficult to defend. The armies have actually gone completely past each other, and they're not going to see each other. These Zealots are actually going straight into this third base. There's no defense. The Sunkens aren't finished, and there isn't double hatchery here yet, so he's not going to be able to distance mine. Look at this. Drone is trying to get his army back in time, but he's going to lose so many drones. He actually pulls the drone, gives up the hatchery, but he's also going to lose both of these Sunkens as well. I think that one died when it finished, because Sunkens, of course, do have 100 less health than creep colonies. So when a creep colony is less than 100 health when it finishes, the Sunken does instantly die. And it looks like Drone is going to be able to clean this up, but he has lost so much. And here we go, the Zealots are a bit confused. Wow, that was actually really nicely done by Drone, using the drones to actually block the Zealots, confusing the AI. And he's just going to be able to rebuild this hatchery, although it looks like the Hydra's in the way. Needs to be a bit careful of that. That is a bit of a pain, but Wallace, once again, finding himself locked on 2 bases. He is now going up to his 6th gateway. Still no Corsairs on the map, and actually still no Templar Archives either. Going straight into OBS this time. Are we going to see... I mean, this was obviously for leg speed. Oh, there is the Templar Archive, so I'm completely blind. All the Protoss buildings look the same, guys. Protoss is rigged. They're just confusing. No one likes Protoss, apart from Sale. Now, interestingly, Drone has sent 3 drones over here. I'm not sure if he was planning to take these 3 bases, but it realistically wouldn't be too much of a bad idea. Now this is a really good map to set up a lurker contain, as before. I mean, this is high ground, so you can set some lurkers up here and just be in a fantastic position. Still no Spire for Drone, but Drone knows that he does actually need the Spire. The third hatchery is finally being rebuilt. Looks like he has an Overlord checking all the other bases just to make sure there's no extra expansions hidden away. And we are in an eerily similar situation to the previous game. Wallace has done a little bit of extra damage, but this time Drone of course will have the earlier gas base. It doesn't look like... wait, is that 2,500? Have a look. No, okay, so he actually mined quite a lot of gas from this base, so he's got a little bit of an advantage there. I'm not too sure what's going on the other side of the bracket right now, because this has been quite a long series so far. This is, of course, 1-0 in Drone's favour, as you can see in my overlay in the top. Hopefully that's all appearing as it should be. And finally, we are going to be looking at Drone trying to be a little bit more aggressive. I mean, the problem is, in this game right now, Drone can't be too aggressive, and once again we see friendly fire on the cannons. Cannons blocking everything. Cannons are just in the way. I mean, they keep him alive, but he's going to try and move out. He does have 4 Templar. They all have enough energy for a Storm. But is he going to be able to get a decent engagement? A Whiffed Storm actually doesn't hit anything. Is going to cause him a few problems. There's just so many units coming in from both angles, so many lurkers as well. A Storm does go down about 4 Hydras, but he needs to storm this clump. There's just so many units, and Drone once again looks like he's going to try and set up a lovely lurker contain and make it very, very difficult for Wallace to expand. As I did show off before, you do have this easily accessible third base, but if you can't take this, if Drone controls this ground, there is no realistic way of Wallace actually taking another base. You have to go all the way to actually this natural third over here. There is only 12 bases on this map, so a fairly interesting map layout as well. Looks like Drone has actually pulled back. He doesn't actually manage to do too much damage, but a really nice storm there by Wallace. A nice second storm, but really nice dodge there by Drone. There is actually a lot of High Templar here. I think that's about 6. Yeah, so he does have 6 High Templar, and that's going to be enough to actually deal with most of this. But there is just so many lurkers everywhere. Interestingly, Drone gave up this position to just go back and defend. There's not actually that much of a Protoss army. He is ahead in supply still, but he's even in supply, so he's doing pretty well. And, I mean, Drone is just doing a really good job. At first I thought there was some burrowed links or something. There's actually some craters in the middle of the map. We see Drone moving around. It looks like Wallace going for the Lancer X style of going for run-bys, trying to find this extra base. I'm not sure if he saw the Drone, but he certainly sniffed out something, because I mean, Drone was going to build the hatchery. It looks like Drone has still got these 3. I wonder if he thinks this is an Overlord. I guess he must do, right? He's sending another drone. He's sending another drone to expand over here when he already has 3 there. That's actually really funny, but we do finally see an engagement in the middle. One of the lurkers does go down for 3 Dragoons, 4 Dragoons, 5 Dragoons go down for 1 lurker. Not the best of trades. And it looks like Drone is actually going to go for the Brumby as well. He's going through this weird shuriken pattern down to attack the natural. There's not that many cannons, and there's no units back to defend. Is Drone going to be able to sniff this out? He knows the Protoss is on 2 base. Looks like, wow, the Wallace has actually opted to try and take this base, but this is going to be the problem. Look at this. He actually has a very wide choke here to defend. And of course the smaller choke here, but look at this, he's being sandwiched. Sandwiched from both sides, he can't retreat. A huge storm does go off, it's actually killing a lot of Hydralisks. Another one, I mean, Drone actually run into that, so that's pretty good for Wallace. And somehow, Wallace does get a really nice exchange there, but look at this. The army is coming from the other side. Is Drone going to sandwich? It doesn't look like he's going to come in from both sides, only attacking from one angle. This is going to allow... this is actually going to allow Wallace to kill both of the armies separately. No, but here we go. The Hydralisks are coming in, and they're going to be able to clean up every single Protoss unit here, and I think this is actually going to have to be GG from Wallace as he loses this 3rd base. The 4th base is now going up for Drone over in the right side. And he still has, well, he has a drone still hidden up there. But wow, Wallace somehow manages to push back the Zerg army. He does have 2-0 upgrades. How much does Drone have? Once again, with the 2-0, or 2-1 even. Does he have 2 evolution chambers? Yes, he does. Drone, the king of upgrades in ZVP, it looks like. And he just has units everywhere. Drone is only just behind in supply, which is usually favourable for the Zerg. Now, there's a lot of trees here that the Archons could hide in if you wanted to, but it's not really going to help him too much. Looks like we do see a load of probes transferring, and could the Hydras actually catch this? They do catch some of the army out, and he's going to put down a lurker, but it's a bit too late to catch the probes, but it will catch the rest of this army. Yeah, the prize pool this week, I need to check that afterwards, but it was at $51 to start with. Oh my god. Oh no, he's transferring straight into the lurker. How many kills can this get? Actually 9 kills, it wasn't 5 before, so only 4. But once again, we see the trademark Queens and the Ensnare coming out from Drone. Funnily enough, the slow units, the High Templar, don't actually get ensnared there. He missed them. He doesn't need to. There's still such a huge army from Drone coming in from the front. But somehow, Wallace with his 2 attack is able to actually push back this just Hydra army itself. And this is such a crazy engagement. The Ensnare has worn off. One of the Archons goes down. Just Dragoons do remain. Actually 2 Archons, wow. Focus firing them down. Really nice by Drone, but somehow he's trading really well against this Zerg army. But this is where Dragoons start having trouble. Dragoons against Hydra alone are not good enough. And I'll link the match arena page afterwards, unless Sale would be kind enough to paste it for me. That'd be cool. I think I had a timer, but I think it's turned itself off for some reason, so that's a bit unfortunate. Apparently I'm talking non-stop, I'm doing my best. I'm killing my voice, but that's fine. I'm only going back to work tomorrow, where I'm going to be talking on the phone, which is going to be a lot of fun. I really do not want to go back to work tomorrow, but my week off is sadly over, and we do see the 5th base, 6th base, and actual 7th. This is really clever. He can actually build a Nidus canal up here. Yeah, there we go. Nidus as I say it. And I mean, there's not too much to wow, Wallace is going to scout this. I mean, there's not really too much he can do about it. He's actually going to build a Nexus next to the Nidus canal. I don't think he realizes. Oh, it looks like his view has actually come up. Wow, he's going to try and add some cannons. Is he going to be able to defend this? He does have his army in position. The drone is coming in, or drone is actually going to go for the counterattack. It looks like there's nothing defending, which is the funny thing. It looks like the Nidus Canal has finished. The lurkers are going down. Are actually, wow, okay, so here we go. This is going to be a big problem. A Defiler here as well. Is he going to be able to swarm? He doesn't actually have enough energy, I don't think. I think, as far as I'm aware, Swarm is 100 energy and he can't consume anything right now, so kind of throwing away a Defiler for free. And, I mean, it looks like Wallace actually got a favourable engagement there. He will kill this Nidus Canal, but meanwhile, while he's doing that, the huge forces of Drone are coming in. Is he going to be able to take down the Nexus? There is a DT there, but it goes down to a single Zergling. And somehow, Wallace is going to try and hold on. I'm not sure he can. He's looking to get as much damage as possible. Actually walling in the Dragoons with the Lurker Eggs. Really clever there by Drone. Gets the Nexus. And Wallace is going to once again find himself in a horrible position. Drone actually up in supply. And this is going to be quite interesting. The probes are actually transferring back through the Hydros. A huge storm does go down, and Archon is morphing just out of range of the vision. There we go, he does see it. He's going to kill this. And there's just not really anything that Wallace can do to come back in this game. Drone now at 2-2 upgrades against just the 2-1. Oh, actually, that's fairly even, so that's not too bad. The hatch rate does go down. Drone is now mining from his 5th base. No, that's actually his 4th base. He's not mining from his 5th and 6th right now. But here we go once again. The Hydras are pushing in. He's going to try and go for the throat of Wallace. The last remaining bastion of Zerg forces up here in the top left position are going to go down. Is there a storm? If he can storm the ramp, he can. A huge storm goes down. Wow, that kills so many Hydralisks. There's so much blood on that ramp. Faust is asking for a green sword. I'm not sure I should mod you, Faust, because we have enough mods already. And if you start dispensing indiscriminate justice, we may have a few problems. We do see the Zealots have actually found the 4th base of Drone, pushing into the Sunkens, but look at this. Has he got melee upgrades? No, just one attack. So these Zealots are going to be able to trade for days against the Zerglings, but he's not going to be able to do anything. The rest of his army is actually finding lurkers out in the middle of the map, but here's the Hydralisks, they're coming in. Another Storm goes down. Pretty good by him. It's going to allow him to at least clear up some of the forces. Somehow, despite everything, they're incredibly even in supply. There's people using purple usernames. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, we do see Drone in just a commanding position in this game. I mean, Wallace is doing whatever he can to come back. He now has secured this 3rd base, and he will eventually be able to take this 4th base again. But, I mean, Drone should be able to come back in and eventually finish this game. Weirdly enough, Drone is now on 3-2 upgrades. He's transferring a load of drones finally over to the other bases. And it's going to be pretty crazy. A single lurker actually in the middle of the map. I don't think there's any observer near this army, so they actually have to fall back, which is kind of funny. And I pressed F5 instead of F6, but there we go. Some adrenaline or some cracklings actually come in, trapping a single dragoon on the ramp. I mean, Wallace is doing an incredible job trying to stay in this game. He does want to lose, because if he does lose this game, he will lose the series and will be out of the tournament in... This is a round 1 game, guys. This is how many good players we have in this tournament. This just... Oh my god, a nice Plague. That Plague hit all of the Zealots. This is going to be so bad for him. Wow, he's actually consuming to try and get another Plague. There's not really that much left to play. But... somehow Drone doesn't have enough units to trade into these. There's so many Zealots, and even with the Plague, it's just not enough. But another Plague goes down. Someone banned Nightbot. I should have probably turned that off, but I think it's fine. Nightbot is supposed to be doing the brackets, so if you do exclamation mark bracket, you will see that. Drone once again build another Queen. I'm not sure he's really achieved too much with the Queens this game. And suddenly... it's like I'm sitting in the middle of the night, like it's 2 AM or something. It's 5 PM, I am so glad the clocks have gone back. Dark evenings are just the best. And there we go. We see some Zerglings throwing themselves away into the Protoss army again. And, I mean, look at this. All of Wallace's probes, his main and natural, and now completely mined out. The gas is going to be depleted now as well. And we see yet another engagement, another Plague goes down, but I think most of these units are already on like 1 health. Actually parasiting one of the Archons is going to give him complete vision over all of the Protoss army as he 1A, 2A, 3A's it across the map. I mean, he's actually playing the observers, so he should be able to see those. Yeah, he can see the observers now, and I've actually turned all of the vision off right now. It doesn't look like Drone is able to muster up a force big enough to actually clear this Protoss ball. I don't know how, but Wallace is hanging on the best he can. And, I mean, he's got a 20 kill Archon. So that must be, I mean, it's going to be 2 High Templar with about 10 or 10 kills or like whatever. He's also got a 15 kill one though. These Archons are worth their weight in gold. The trouble he has is he can't push in to any of these bases. And eventually Drone is going to be able to overwhelm him. I'm not sure what tech Drone is going for, but he must be teching up to something. Looks like we have another contingent of Lings coming down with the Queens. The Sunkens and the Lurkers are enough to force this back. I believe both the observers actually went down, and there we go, another ensnare. Now the ensnare is going to be really good. It's going to allow the Lings to completely surround this force. But another big batch. Oh, he lost the obs on spores, thank you. I completely missed that. And yeah, we do see some crazy stuff going on. It looks like... I mean, he has his Defiler Mound. Does he have an Ultralisk Cavern or anything? He is finally going for the Ultralisk Cavern. And I believe that will give him the stopping power to deal with the Zealots. What are his upgrades? It's 3-2 for the Protoss, and 3-3 on the melee for the Zerglings. So, I mean, the upgrades for both... Oh my god, that one Lurker killed another Dragoon. It's been there for about 10 minutes. I actually stopped him pushing up before. But once again, Drone is just checking everywhere for bases. I mean, Wallace is nearly broke. Like, I think Wallace is finally on his last legs, but if he can secure this base, we could see another 20 minutes in the game. I mean, Drone just hasn't been amassing a big enough army, but finally, look at the supplies. Drone actually 30 supply ahead is going to allow, it's going to allow Wallace, well, Drone to actually just push into this army of Wallace. There is a lot of Storm though, so he needs to be careful. Actually, 6 Templar, no, 5 Templar now. They do all believe I have Storm, and it's going to be very difficult for Drone to engage. One thing that Wallace needs to look into doing, he can't really afford it, is actually go into Reavers as well. We did see a drop which I completely missed. It doesn't look like too much was dropped out, and the Templar did actually clean it all up. It must have been the 2 lurkers there. But I mean, Wallace is slowly starting to stabilize. He is behind in supply, but he is in good place. Is there going to be a big plague? Is there going to be a big plague? Oh, plague! He gets a nice plague, but there is some nice storms as well. And once again, I mean, he's plaguing, but he's not really getting too many units. And once again, Wallace is just trading into the army of Drone over and over again. But I think, finally, Wallace's army may actually go down. It looks like he's at least going to lose... Wow, he has so many Templar right now, where he's had so much gas this whole time. Actually has so much gas he's not bothering to expand to here yet with his gas. I mean, Drone is just in such an awkward position. He's got such a large bank, but he just doesn't seem to know what he wants to do with it. It's kind of crazy. I mean, it looks like he is going to try and engage again. There is very few units left alive. Some more storms do go down on top of all the lurkers. I mean, his storms are keeping him in this game. His storms have been incredibly good, but actually storming 3 of his own Templar there, I think Wallace, now losing all of his army, is finally 28 minutes into the game, about 15 minutes since he could have died, may finally die. These Lings under Swarm, there's nothing here to counter it. I think he actually had a Zealot. Yeah, the Zealot's attacking the Defiler rather than the Zerglings, and all of his cannons go down, and here we go. Lings coming in from both angles, but that Storm! That Storm killed all 9 Lings before they even got to the cannon! My god, Storm is so powerful! Oh, but there's another Storm. Oh, and the Scourge are coming in. They're trying to get the Observers. I think he did. Oh my god. Another Observer going down. Is there any Lurkers to capitalize on this? I don't think there is. There's actually 4 morphing on top of this. More Lings suiciding into this choke. And I mean, this is just insane. Drone just cannot break Wallace's defense. I mean, people say Terran are the turtle race. They need to watch PvC, man. This is crazy. Drone's bank is so high, and Wallace is still somehow managing to find time to send Zealots out to cancel these extra bases. Eventually, Wallace is going to be able to take this base, and it'll be even bases with the Zerg, although Drone did actually get the best maps, but he took this base, and he nearly took this base, so this base is going to be hot. It's going to be hotly contested if it goes later. A Templar actually storming at the last possible second, so making it useful. And here we go, so many Lings coming in. They have 3/3 upgrades. There's very little here to defend now. There is 4 storms, but the storms aren't really going to be good enough. There's just too many Zerglings, and I think Wallace is fine. I've said this so many times, but I think this time he is actually breathing his final breaths in this game. And yeah, I mean, Drone never actually made... Oh my god. That Storm. Now, has he got any Ultras? Because he got the Ultraless cabin. I can only imagine he's getting the Ultraless upgrades before he's doing it. He actually has Queens over here not doing anything. I mean, he needs to try and do something to stop the High Templar getting their energy back, but he's just not tech switching or anything. But yeah, Zerg is just doing really well this game. He's actually going in to counter this, but look at the Zerglings, they're stuck on this. Finally we do see an Ultraless. It doesn't have its 5 army yet, and all of the units from Drone are actually stuck. There's just so many Zealots. Yeah, Drone actually took the gas on his bases incredibly late, so Drone put himself a little bit further behind, and I still cannot believe this is still a round 1 game. I can only imagine by the time this is over, we're going to be in like the quarterfinals in the other brackets. but we may have to follow this this side of the bracket up, depending on how quickly the rest of the tournament is going. We see Drone once again trying to move in to cancel this base that isn't actually there yet. And Drone just cannot find an opening. Wallace is just so well defended. He is stuck on 3 base though. Well, he's actually only mining on 1 base, and this base is nearly mined out. He doesn't even have enough to build a Nexus right now. This is how dire it is for Wallace. And yeah, I mean, looks like we're finally getting a big engagement with the Ultras. It looks like the Ultras upgrade still hasn't finished. We'll keep an eye on that. And then Snare goes down on the Zealots, but I don't think it really matters. The Zealots doing so much damage to absolutely everything. The Zerglings are melee as well, so the Ensnare doesn't really do too much. And somehow, Drone, despite being 80 supply off, is trading so inefficiently into this 3-3 Protoss army. Finally, it looks like he will break through, but there's still so many cannons, and there's a Templar who doesn't have enough of Storm. Can he hold on? I don't think he can. A Queen finally coming in. Broodling goes down on that Templar, and he's finally lost his front. We do see Guardians actually coming in from the top. They actually get stormed. One of them nearly dies. Really hard to keep up with what's going on this game because there's units everywhere. And we do finally see a GG from Wallace. Playing from behind the whole game, just hanging on like a trooper. And there we go. Drone does move through with a 2-0 victory against Wallace. Now let's quickly bring up the overlay.